Welcome to AA Podcast number 8 this semester, the show where we explore the accounting world, one asset and liability at a time. My name is Mariana, and today we'll be talking about the inside of AA. Michael and Tyler are here with me. Please welcome back our guest, Brianna, and we also have Henry today.
Hi, everyone. I am Brianna Alonzo, and I am a senior. This is my last year, and I am the CSUN Accounting Association Vice President.
Hello, my name is Henry Palacios. I'm currently a junior, graduating spring 22, and I'm the executive coordinator for this semester.
Well, thank you so much for introducing yourself, guys. And now let's dive in. As the semester is coming to its end, we wanted to talk to you about how AA works and who we are. For me personally, the reason why I became a director was because I felt like AA helped me a lot. When I was a member, I didn't know much about recruiting or accounting in general, so with the help of my mentor and other AA people, I was really able to figure it out. So looking back, I felt like I wanted to help others too. Brianna, as someone with an extensive history with AA, I'd like to start by asking, why did you decide to become a director?
So the reason I became a director was for a couple reasons. One was to feel connected to the campus and to kind of give back. I started my journey with the Accounting Association my freshman year straight out of high school. And I was able to get my offer my fall semester here at CSUN with the help of AA, going to their meetings and having those connections already, starting to grow. As a commuter, I didn't really feel a connection with the campus for my first semester. So I knew from then on, I really wanted to change that for this spring. So that's why I applied for a directorship. My first directorship was the awards banquet directorship. And at the time, that is when the clubs were more in charge of organizing the event with the department and hosting it and everything at Castaway in Burbank. And another reason why I wanted to join was AA really played an important role in helping me get my offer and having all of these recruiting events and everything. So when I came back, I really wanted to kind of help others, kind of like the organization helped me. And I started as a freshman, so I was still very young in the program. And even then, a lot of members, a lot of other higher directors, executives were very open on helping me, kind of guiding me with like my classes and who to take and what to really do with like my career basically at CSUN. And it kind of just led me to find a family within AA with everyone kind of being older than me to kind of just like swept me in. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to become a director.
How long have you been within the association?
In total, I have done 5 positions so far with the Accounting Association. Starting off with spring 2018, I was the awards banquet director. Fall 2018, I was student development director. Spring 2019, I was the controller. Fall 2019, I took a break. Spring 2020, I came back as the executive coordinator. And fall 2020, now I am the vice president.
Wow, well, that is very impressive. I'm really happy that you were with us for so long. We're really lucky to have you. And let me ask you, so after 5 semesters of being a director and being on the board, do you feel like it helped your personal growth a lot?
AA has definitely helped me grow as a person. It has helped me come out of my shell. It has helped me gain so many leadership skills. It has helped me expand my network. Honestly, without AA, I wouldn't be the person I am today. If you were to tell freshman me that I was going to be vice president of the organization and do all of these other things, I would probably think you were lying. AA in itself, with other directors, with other executives, with the kind of the leaders before in the past semesters, they have really shaped me to who I am today, for always pushing me, even from the beginning, from pushing me to go into higher positions within the organization, to expand my network, to push me into things that I was at the time uncomfortable with, to become comfortable, to take on all of these roles and really help me establish, to guide other people, to guide teams, to talk to people, to do all of these things. And without the people in the past, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I am so grateful to have joined AA. And yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is something I definitely can relate to, just being in AA and especially being a director, and being around people that are doing the same thing I'm doing is just so motivational. Just seeing all the other directors and executives just doing all these great things and helping other members and helping other students and getting their offers, graduating, and it's really motivational. I can totally relate to just growing with AA. And now let me ask Henry, how about you, Henry? What made you want to be a director and how did you decide on which position you wanted to choose?
Well, before I tell you why I became a director, I feel like I should tell you why I became a member, since both reasons are pretty connected. So, like Brianna, um, I was a commuter as well. I was extremely shy. Honestly, for the first year and a half or like 2 years, I didn't know anybody. I had like zero friends at CSUN. All I did was drive and go home. I became a member in spring 2019. I realized that I was already halfway through my college experience and I didn't know much about accounting, recruiting process, and I just didn't know that many people in general. So that semester, I decided to join AA because I had heard of them through one of their presentations during classes. That semester, I attended my first AA event, which was mock interviews, and I met Fatima Batul. Um, she basically introduced me to some of the executives and directors at the event. I met Tan, who was an executive at the time, and I joined the intramural football team with her. So basically, everyone I met that day at the event was just so nice and accepting that just encouraged me to attend more AA events and just get more involved. Long story short, that semester I made so many good connections with like members, directors, and executives. I was building my network without even knowing it. They all gave me great advice and told me how recruiting works. Everyone was basically a mentor. And as I stated before, I was a really shy kid. Like, I could not say hi to anyone. And I still am to an extent, but everyone in AA has really helped me. And if it wasn't for everyone I met so far, I don't think I would have ever landed my offer at PwC. And AA has really just helped me grow as a person. So that's why I became a member in fall 2019. It was just everyone I met that semester was just so encouraging and helpful to me. You know, I had to become part of the organization.
Right, and let me ask you, so you mentioned that you were able to build the connections. Would you say that you were also able to build some friendships within the organization?
Definitely, I met some people since that first semester in the football team. I met Nicole, and we've been friends ever since then. I met Nicole and Gara. We go hiking, we go to restaurants together. They've been my seasoned friends like this whole time. It's what, about 2 years later or like a year later. So yeah, it definitely helps you build some lifelong friendships.
Right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Henry. It's really good to hear that, for many of us, AA has brought a lot of important people into our lives. Tyler, I know this is your last semester with AA. What was the best part of being part of AA for you?
So for me, the best part of AA, I'd like to start off as a member. It's the AA family. They're so loving and helpful, and they'll honestly help you with everything, school, recruiting, and really everything in between. They really do try and do their best to make sure that you're getting the best experience, you're connected. And like Henry mentioned earlier on, you honestly end up building your network without even realizing it. And it's so crazy because I just feel like as AA continues to move forward, it's always stayed the same in that regard. Ever since I was a member and I decided to pursue a directorship, none of that has really changed. They've always been extremely welcoming, despite the fact that the boards change every single semester. And then as a director, I feel like it was so amazing to be able to give back to the students and also just kind of pass it forward. For me, AA helped me out so much with my recruiting process, and I was able to land my SLP, then an internship, and then eventually even into a full-time offer. And I don't think I could have done any of that without all the events that were provided and just all the connections that I was able to make through AA. And then I also want to touch on, as the executive of operations, in terms of being able to give back and kind of pass it forward, I had the amazing opportunity to oversee the daily operations of our social media, overseeing both the media and marketing directorships. Again, in this virtual environment, getting content out to the students so that they can be ready for their recruiting process it really is an irreplaceable feeling to know that you're helping students with their recruiting journey in the same way that Passports helped me with my recruiting journey. It's something that I honestly would recommend to anybody moving forward, whether you're a member, a director, or even want to pursue an executive position in the future. It's something that you'll always take with you moving forward. And I'm so happy and grateful for the opportunity that I was given. And I don't know, I guess the best part of AA altogether is just being able to be a part of the whole process, as a member, as a director, and finally as an executive.
Right. And then on top of just being able to help people, also, all the work that you have done, I know how hard you work being, one of your directors working under you. Do you feel like AA also helped you maybe develop some of the skills?
Absolutely. The leadership skills that I was able to gain this semester is something that I will take with me moving forward. It is a lot of work. I'm not going to deny that, but it is so, so worth it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Tyler. Thanks for sharing your experience. And let me ask Michael. It's also your last semester with AA. And I know that being my co-director is now one of your first, it's actually your third directorship. I just wanted to see how your experience being a director for like 3 semesters went.
It's an essential experience. It's a great way to get experience working with other students who may be your coworkers in the future, and you also get to learn to socialize in a professional context. A student organization is not exactly the same as a professional services firm, but so many alumni come back to CSUN to talk to students at AA events. I know a lot of directors directly contact professionals, so they get exposure that way as well. My directorships were mostly internal. My first directorship was a committee director where I got to see a little bit of everything. My second directorship was a charitable events directorship where I got to set up some fundraiser events, but it was unfortunately cut short due to COVID. My third and final directorship is this media directorship. I didn't go for an executive position because I was busy actively recruiting through all 5 of my semesters at CSUN, but all 3 were great experiences. There was lots of variety, and I would gladly do it again.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Michael. That's something I can totally relate to as well, especially the part that you mentioned about just building connections with people that you're working with now and then possibly working with them in the future. I'm pretty sure that this semester is not the last time I'll get to work with Tyler, possibly in the future in Co-Resnick. That would be amazing, definitely. I also wanted to talk about how it all works. I didn't know how AA works as an organization when I was a member, and therefore it could be really helpful for people to learn a little bit more about us, especially because the directorship applications are coming up very soon. Brianna, can you give us a rundown on the directorships next semester and what are the responsibilities?
Yeah, of course. So in an online setting, we had to cut down on a couple of directorships that we usually have in person. However, this semester we did not have a membership directorship, but for the spring we are bringing that back. And what that kind of entails is being in charge of the members' membership and making sure that the form is ready and getting the member apparel ready, the directorship apparel ready, and the exec apparel ready. So if you're into creativity and a little bit of designing, please sign up for that. We also have committees. So if you are also not sure of what directorship to kind of do and you're really new into the organization in itself, committee is a perfect way to kind of assist other directors within the organization. And it can be helping with student development, with mentorship mixer, it just kind of wherever the directors need help with, committee will be there, and we're looking for someone flexible. Mentorship, they are in charge of our mentorship program as well as hosting the mentorship mixer. We also have public relations who are in charge of sending our weekly emails, our website, our wonderful website, and our student recruitment book. We also have meetings. We have our meetings every Monday. We have Wednesdays every other Wednesday, as well as some evening events. Then we have our student development who are in charge of our networking workshop and mock interviews in the beginning of the semester. Student activities plans our social events, and our fun events that are not so focused on recruiting. Like recently, our last event was pumpkin carving, and that was really fun. Then we also have marketing, who are in charge of all of our social medias, like our LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and our new Twitter account. Then finally, we have our media directors, who are in charge of this podcast and creating other content for us, as well as uploading our weekly AA meetings to our YouTube channel. So these are the directorships that we will be having in the spring, and applications are open now.
Cool. Thank you so much, Brianna. And then how about the executive board? Henry, what are the positions and what do you guys do?
So, in order to join the executive board, you usually have to be a director at least once before you can apply for an executive position. Once you become executive, you are in charge of overseeing a number of directorships. It can be between 1 or 2. And I'll go over the list of executive positions. I'll start with the ones that do have a specific directorship attached to it. For example, the executive of operations, they're in charge of overlooking the marketing and media directorships. They're also in charge of overseeing the daily operations of all social media. Next is treasurer. They overlook membership directorship, and they handle reimbursements of all accounting association expenses. They maintain a good relationship with the associated students. They're also responsible for keeping accurate control of the receipts and reimbursements to the directors. Next is controller. They overlook the public relations directorship. They're also in charge of sponsorship, so trying to get different firms to sponsor the accounting association. They're also in charge of creating the budget for all of the directorships. Next, we have executive coordinator. Some of their duties are to be present at all accounting association events. They also keep count and record of the number of participants attending the accounting association events and meetings. Then we have executive of administrator. They maintain the minutes of the executive board meetings. They also collect the accounting association's mail from the Matador Involvement Center and the accounting and IS department. Next is executive alumni relations. They're responsible for updating the alumni list and maintaining a relationship with and inviting past alumni. They're also in charge of ordering the plaques and the pins for the directors. Next, we have the president and the vice president. The vice president is basically the right hand to the president and is there to assist the president in anything that the president needs, in any decisions that they need consult. For example, they're both in charge of appointing the executives. They appoint the executive advisor if necessary. The president calls the executive meetings. The president also signs for the disbursements of all funds with another designated executive, and they are also responsible for recharting the association. So basically planning ahead and just trying to keep the accounting association going. Lastly, we have the executive advisor, who's appointed by the president when deemed necessary and is there to provide advice and guidance to the executive board. And all the information I just said, I know it might have been hard to keep up, but if you go to the AA website, on the Abouts tab, we have the Constitution, and it has the roles and the duties of each executive position. So if any director is interested, they can just find out more information there.
Perfect. And then when are the applications due for both, for the directorships and the board?
So the deadline for the executive board applications is on the day of elections, which is Monday, November 23rd, 2020 at 12 p.m., so at noon. And the deadline for the directorship application is December 17th at 11:55 p.m.
Got it. Thank you so much. And Bree, when the applications are in, what are you guys going to be looking for and what is the process like?
Yeah, so let me just start with the application process for the directorship and executive application. So we do require a resume. The cover letter is optional. However, we do love hearing what ideas you may have and any way we can continue improving the organization. Then we have the name, grad date, then GPA. We also ask for your spring schedule and if you're working, just so we can understand how you're going to be able to balance everything while taking on a directorship or overlooking directorships. Then for the directorship application, we do have a ranking system. So 1 being the most that you want, and I believe it's 8 being the least that you want. So when you're looking at these, please kind of consider which one that you really do want, and then kind of going 1, 2, 3 from afterwards. Also, since it is an online setting, we do require you to have a picture. It doesn't have to be professional, but we would prefer it to be professional. I remember when I did my first directorship application, I did not have a professional picture. And it's literally me with like a blazer on in my kitchen. So any picture works. We just want to see your face and kind of put a face to the application. Then for the executive application, it's kind of the same format, except for the ranking, it's more based on what executive position that you would like. Kind of like Henry said earlier, just kind of reconsidering like the controller is overlooking PR, executive operations looking over marketing and media and all of the social media, and treasurer is overlooking membership, and then everything else has different duties, as Henry has mentioned earlier. So it's kind of ranking those and what you prefer to do. For directors, we are looking for people who are ready to learn and become part of a team. We honestly would not be the organization that we are without the hard work from our directors. We love our directors who are eager to learn and take initiative. We appreciate everyone who just wants to grow as a person. Also, we don't expect you to kind of come in and know absolutely everything. We do have individual training for your, specified directorship with your own exec, as well as a whole organization directorship. And then for executives, we do look for someone who has done at least one directorship in the past and is ready to take on this leadership position and guide your own teams. I think it's important for an executive to know what they want and the guidance that they want to take with whatever directorship they are overlooking, along with any other side task. For both the directorship and executive positions, we do want people who have good time management skills, who are open to improving their communication skills, and always willing to be a helping hand, because it really does take a village running this organization. So help from each other and pushing each other to be each other's best is kind of what we're looking for.
All right, thank you so much, Bree, for sharing that. And Michael, my question for you is, what are some personal benefits of being a director?
So let me tell you about how AA benefited me personally. One piece of advice that we always give everyone is to be themselves. I was really struggling to find out what that meant, to be myself. I was very socially anxious, and I didn't know what the accounting industry expected from me. I tried out a lot of different personalities, acting differently with each group of people I was talking to because I wanted to fit in with them. I didn't know who myself was, so I was grasping at straws trying to find out. All I knew was that I can't give a bad first impression, so I constructed an ideal version of myself based on what I thought was professional. It wasn't until I joined AA and I was able to see how other students carried themselves professionally that I began my professional development. I got to see how other students worked, but most importantly for me, I got to see how other students failed and bounced back from failure. I felt like I broke through a barrier because for the first time I was able to genuinely connect with other students without being scared of making a bad impression, because I learned from watching others fail that everyone fails and that there are ways to bounce back. Watching other people struggle and growing alongside them is a bonding experience like no other, and it's because AA put me on this path that I'm much more prepared for life.
All right, well, thank you so much for sharing that story, Michael. That was a very personal and very touching story. And that's definitely a great example of why people should apply. My next question is for Tyler. For those that are interested in being a director, what is your advice for choosing a directorship?
So I think Bree kind of went over this pretty well, kind of going over the responsibilities for each directorship. And then Henry also went over each executive and which directorships they oversee. But in terms of kind of figuring out what's the best fit for you, well, first thing that you can do is you can go to the AA website, and we have descriptions of every single directorship on there, including executive roles, and just kind of familiarize yourself with that. For me personally, I think the timing couldn't have worked out better when I applied for the media directorship, because that wasn't actually directorship prior to that semester. It was something that was newly created. And as a YouTuber myself, I felt like it couldn't have fit me more perfectly. You know, for you, it could really vary. And I would say, at the very least, just apply for the directorship position. And even if it's not the one that, you know, maybe you feel the most confident on, if there is a fit for you, the e-board will find something for you. There are a lot of different roles in the Accounting Association, a lot of creative roles, a lot of professional development roles. And so I think the most important thing is that you need to be open for growth, no matter if that's professional or you're looking for the creative side of things. Again, with the media and marketing directorships, it's definitely on the more creative side. Student activities, you could say the same thing. When it comes down to the meetings, that's a lot more professional development. You know, you're going to have to interact and, you know, send out emails to professionals, talk to firms. And then, you know, on the back end of things, like you have public relations, which probably doesn't get as much credit as it deserves, but, you know, them pumping out the emails, them getting the website ready, they might not get as much appreciation, but the skills and the work that they put in is something that, you know, AA could not function without. And so there's really a good fit for everybody. And at the very least, like I said before, just apply for the directorship. Even if you don't really know what you want to do, there's more than likely going to be an opportunity for you there.
All right. Thank you so much, Tyler. And thank you to our guests. Thank you so much, Henry and Brianna, for coming on. Thanks, Bree, for coming back again. We really appreciate that you guys gave us a really cool rundown on everything. And thank you for all the advice. To all the people applying, good luck. Fully support you. You're not going to regret this. This is an amazing opportunity to grow, expand your network, and like we mentioned, make some friends too. To our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed the podcast, then please make sure to hit the like button. And next week, we'll finally go over professional advocacy. Fingers crossed. There's something that we've been meaning to talk about for a couple of weeks, but we've been putting a little extra hours on it to make sure that we come out with some good content. So please subscribe to our channel if you want to see more, and we'll see you next week.